Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, so text 25 maybe we do today.
24. Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Yeah, 25.
Om Namo
24 भी रहेंगे.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय.
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय.
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय.
प्रायेण वेद तद इदम न महाजनोयम.
प्रायेण वेद तदिदं न महाजनोऽयम्.
प्रायेण वेदः
देव्या देव्या विमोहित मतिर्बत माययालम.
देव्या विमोहितमतिर्बतमाययालम्.
मायायालम्।
प्रयाम जड़ी कृत मतिर मधु पुष्पितायाम.
त्रयं
त्रय्यां
जडीकृतमतिर्मधुपुष्पितायाम्।
जडीकृतमतिर्मधुपुष्पितायाम्.
वैतानिके महति कर्मणि युज्यमान.
वैतानिके महति
वैतानिके
कर्मणि
महति
युज्यमान।
कर्मणि युज्यमान.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। मैं रीड प्रभु जी।
Yes, please.
Because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yajna Valakya and Zaibini and other compilers of the religious scriptures cannot know the secret, confidential religious system of the 12 Mahajan. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service or chanting Hare Krishna mantra because their minds are attracted to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajurveda, Samaveda, Rigveda. Their intelligence has become dull. Thus, they are busy collecting the ingredients for ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary benefits, such as evaluation to Swargaloka for material happiness. They are not attracted to Sankirtana movement. Instead, they are interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Since one may easily achieve the highest success by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one may ask why there are so many Vedic rituals, ceremonies, and why people are attracted to them. This verse answers the question. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedaischa sarva ahmeda vedaha. The real purpose of studying the Vedas is to approach the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Unfortunately, unintelligent people, bewildered by the grandeur of the Vedic yajna, want to see the Jarjara's sacrifice performed. They want Vedic mantras chanted, huge amount of money spent on such ceremonies. Sometimes we have to observe Vedic ritualistic ceremony to please such unintelligent men. Recently, when we established a large Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, we are obliged to have a Vedic ceremony enacted by Brahmanas because the inhabitant of Vrindavan, especially the Smartha Brahmanas, could not accept Europeans and Americans as a bona fide Brahmanas. Thus, we had to engage Brahmanas to perform the costly yajnas. In spite of this yajna, the member of our society performs Sankirtan loudly with Mridanga, and I consider the Sankirtan more important than the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Both the ceremonies and the Sankirtanas were going on simultaneously. The ceremonies were meant for persons interested in Vedic ritual elevation to the heavenly planet. Jadi Krita Matir Madhu Puspitayam. Whereas the Sankirtana was meant for pure devotee instead of pleasing the Supreme, interested in pleasing Supreme Personality of Godhead. We would simply have performed Sankirtana, but then the inhabitant of Vrindavan would not have taken the installation ceremony seriously. As explained here, the Vedic performances are meant for those whose intelligence has been dulled by the flowery language of the Vedas, which describe fruitive activities intended to elevate one to the higher planet. Especially in this age of Kali, Sankirtana alone is sufficient. In the member of our temples in the different part of the world, simply continue Sankirtana before the deity, especially before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will remain perfect. There is no need of any other performance, nevertheless, to keep oneself clean in habits and mind. Deity worship and other regulative principles are required. Srila Jiva Goswami says that although Sankirtana is sufficient for the perfection of life, the archana or worshipping of deity in the temple must continue in order that the devotee may stay clean and pure. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore recommended that one follow both process simultaneously. We strictly follow his principles, performing deity worship and Sankirtana along parallel lines. This we should continue. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So Vedic performances are meant for those whose intelligence has been dulled by the flowery language of the Vedas, which describe fruitive activities intended to elevate one to the higher planets. So the word used here is, Jadik, Jadikrit Matir Madhu Pushpitayam. So what does that really mean? Jadikrit Matir, whose intelligence, Mati, has become Jada, has been made Jada. So when we engage in sense gratificatory activities, the intelligence becomes dull. In Bhagavad Gita also it is said that, Bhagavatam, first canto also it is said that those whose minds are too attracted to sense gratification, the propensity to love Krishna cannot be awakened. So therefore, one has to stay away from sense gratification because sense gratification dulls the intelligence. One becomes more and more attached to the mind and the body. So the great sages like Yajnavalkya, Jaimini, Kanad, Charvak, they are all attracted to the basic ritualistic principles of enjoying the body and the mind. I mean, they are Yajnavalkya, Jaimini, they are not ordinary sages, they are very advanced souls. But still, they are attracted only to the body, they are still attracted to the higher material principles. Now, see, at the grossest level, there is gross sense gratification. So, we see in the lowest forms of society, the fourth and fifth class men, practically the whole of the world now, fourth, fifth class people, they are engaged in gross sense gratificatory activities, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, this kind of unclean activities. But but those who are ritualistic, they are certainly in a higher status. They are like in the varnashram status, but still the propensity is only to satisfy the mind and the senses. Therefore, even that is being condemned here. Their intelligence has become dull because the subject matter is related only to material nature, three gunas, Trigunya Vishaya Veda. So the Vedas are dealing only with the three modes of nature. Of course, the objective of the Vedas is to elevate one from these modes. But if one becomes overly attached to the study of the Vedas, one will never progress beyond. Because one will remain hovering on the platform of sense gratification or beyond that mental speculation. That's why even devotees should not unnecessarily try to study so many books. What is given by Prabhupada is quite sufficient. It's quite large actually. Sometimes devotees think that, these are books, what do we do? I have read Bhagavatam. You cannot read Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita alone will take many lifetimes to understand. But devotees think, oh, I read it once. And then I must read what is Jiva Goswami saying, what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying, what is this saying, what is that saying. That is the actual symptom of a dull-minded person. That he doesn't understand subject matter that is already given to him, but he's always just seeking out new things. This is intellectual sense gratification. Now I know what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. I also know what Jiva Goswami said. I understand what Kavi Karnapura has written. So all this is nonsense. What Acharya has given, that one should study. That will actually purify one's heart. I mean, I hope that we actually sing at least every day, Chakshudan Dilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai. Dibya Jnana Hridaya Prokashito. This knowledge is manifested in the heart. It is not acquired from books. If you keep on reading this book, that book, there is no end to it because Krishna is infinite. How much can you read? If you go to Bengal or Vrindavan, there are a class of Vaishnavas only who deride the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. According to them, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are all Sahajiyas. We think Aula Bolas are Sahajiyas, but according to Smartha Brahmana Vaishnavas, they think we are Sahajiyas because we have just taken a shortcut. So you see, so who will you consider now? How will you follow? So which knowledge you should acquire? So there is no end to it. So best is you follow what Acharya has given. That will be sufficient. Shrimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you read one verse, you meditate. One lifetime is insufficient to meditate on one verse. So read what is given, you meditate on it, purify your life, and go back to Godhead. And whatever is needed to be known, Krishna will reveal. But trust Krishna to reveal the truth. Simply by reading books, you will not understand anything. In fact, you will become more confused. So this kind of mental speculation on the process of devotional service, that is also just mere speculation. Also a form of jnana yoga. So an intelligent person, yajanti hi sumedasha. So those who are intelligent, they should follow the path of Sankirtan. That is congregational chanting, and also, as Prabhupada says, book distribution. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, as per this purport, Prabhupada has explained about this Sankirtana and deity worship. And other than these two, Yajna, what is like Prabhupada himself in this purport, it is now clear all this, even deity installation ceremony, the Yajna is just to pleasing this Martha and other people who are being their mindset is in this Vedic knowledge, Vedic philosophy. So that means only deity worship and Sankirtan are enough. Yajnas are just a ritual for the pleasing the social or people in general.
Actually, yeah, that's true. And we should be very careful while doing it. This is very dangerous also. I remember many years ago, I went to meet a devotee. And that devotee was having a Vastu Shanti Yajna. And he was very happy, all gung ho. And this is like Vastu Shanti, Prabhupada never recommended. But anyhow, it became popular and he was doing it. And he did it. And something went wrong. His mother died. His son became injured. He lost his job. So you see, this is the problem. If Yajna doesn't go well, you are suffering. There will be there are great dangers in this process of Yajna. So one needs to be very careful.
Prabhuji, in ISKCON, this Narsimha Yajna also now become like people are somebody saying others, somebody saying others. They are like becoming more prominent.
We should chant. We should do Nagar Sankirtan. All devotees should carry mridangas, kartalas, and go on the street. Do Nagar Sankirtan. Gaudiya Vaishnavas still do it in Bengal. All this will be taken care of. Sankirtan, Yajna Sankirtan Praye. Sankirtan Yajna, that we have to do. Okay. So we continue. Text 26.
Yeah.
Evam Vimrishya Sudhiyo Bhagavatyanante.
Evam Vimrishya Sudhiyo
Bhagavatyanante.
Sarvatmana Vidadhate Khalu Bhava Yogam.
Sarvatmana Vidadhate Khalu Bhava Yogam.
Te mena dandam arahantya atha yadya amisham.
Mena dandam
Amisham.
Syat patakam tad api hantya urugaya vada.
Syatpatakam tadapi
Urugaya vada.
Yes, please.
Translation purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Considering all these points, therefore, intelligent man decides to solve all problems by adopting the devotional service of chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is situated in everybody's heart and whose mind of all auspicious qualities. Such persons are not within my jurisdiction for punishment. Generally, they never commit sinful activities. But even if by mistake or because of bewilderment of religion, they sometimes commit sinful acts. They are protected from sinful actions because they always chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Quote by Sri Prabhupada. In this regard, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quote the following word from the prayers of Lord Brahma, Bhagavatam 10.14.29. Athapi te deva padam bhajav deve prasada lasan rute evahi janati tatvaham bhagavan mahino na janye eko api tiram ichanya. The purpose is that even though one is a very learned scholar of the Vedic Shastra, he may be completely unaware of the existence of the Supreme Personality Godhead and name, fame, fortune, and so on. Fourth, whereas one who is not a great scholar can understand the position of Supreme Personality Godhead if he somehow or other becomes a true devotee of God by engaging in devotional service. Therefore, this verse is spoken by Yamraj says, Evam Vimaste Suddhi Bhagavati. Those who engage in the loving service of God becomes Suddhi, intelligent. But this is not so for a Vedic scholar who does not understand Krishna's name, fame, and quality. A pure devotee is one whose intelligence is clear. He is truly thoughtful because he engages in the service of the Lord, not as a matter of show, but with love. It is his mind, words, and body. Non-devotees may make a show of religion, but is not very effective because although they constantly attend the temple or church, they are thinking of something else. Such persons are neglecting their religious duty and are pursued by Yamaraj. But a devotee who commits sinful acts, which he may do unwillingly or accidentally because of formal habits, is excused. This is the value of Sankirtan. Hare Krishna Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Hmm. See, the whole, what is the purpose of bhakti? The purpose of bhakti is not even to become free from birth, old age, disease, and death. Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budhao Kripya Tava Pada Pankaj Sthit Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya. I have somehow or the other fallen into this ocean of material existence. Please liberate me from here. But that also is explained by Mahaprabhu. Yugaitam Nimishena Chakshusha Prabrashaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahiname. A pure devotee of the Lord, for him the material world is miserable, not because of birth, old age, disease, and death, but because of the fact that there is no Krishna. So, whether he is happy or unhappy, pure devotee is always miserable in the material condition because it is simply incompatible. He cannot see Krishna here. So, a devotee is just making attempt to get out of this world altogether, which means he's making an attempt to get out of this material consciousness. Material world itself is just a state of consciousness. So, a person who has no material desires is beyond the jurisdiction of Yamraj. So, by engaging in devotional service, one gradually awakens this devotional service for the Lord. So, if a person maintains material consciousness, he is within the jurisdiction of Yamraj. So that may also include a karma mishrit bhakta, one who has still material desires to fulfill. He'll still be obedient to the laws of nature. But a person who has become completely pure, one whose desire is to become a pure devotee is actually considered a pure devotee, according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In the sense that very soon he may take a few more material bodies, but he'll not be under the jurisdiction of Maya for long, because he has desired to leave this world altogether. So previous contamination may still cause him some disturbance, but he will not stay in the material world for too long. So such personalities, they do not come under the jurisdiction of Yamraj. So one should understand that Krishna is the goal of life. There may be material allurements, but Krishna is the goal of life. Then one can actually aspire to become a pure devotee. Otherwise, one will always hold back. One will not progress any further. One will just hold back from devotion. So one should always make an effort to become completely purified in this life itself. And then one will actually become free from material disturbances. So the Vedashcha Sarvar Aham Eva Vedya. The purpose of studying Vedas is to understand that to know Krishna, Aham Aham Vedashcha Sarvar Aham Eva Vedya. Krishna is to be known from the Vedas. So by following the strict principles of Krishna consciousness, one can actually come to know Krishna. Then one will be completely purified. Hare Krishna. So this is actually the verse which is being quoted here. Apichet suduracharo bhajte maam ananya bhak. So one who's ananya bhak, one who's without any distractions worshipping Krishna, he is to be considered this thing. Yeah, he is to be considered a pure soul, even if he makes a mistake. Apichetsu duracharo bhajate maam ananya bhak. Sadhureva samantavya. He is to be considered a sadhu because he is situated in devotion. So even if there is a mistake by a devotee, Krishna will excuse that. But one should not use Krishna consciousness as an excuse to commit sinful activities. That would be an aparadh. Then he'll get an extra punishment. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
And probably the last 4 lines of this text, the two categories they were told, the non-devotees and those who have done it. There's a very fine line difference. You see, for example, I go to the temple and I'm thinking something else. Not intentionally, but thinking because the mind is wavering and all that. Similarly, when I'm very devotedly doing my puja archana, again my mind wanders. So both are the things. But which are the qualification I want to know between two? What is different?
Between a non-devotee and a devotee?
But it means non-devotee is he goes to temple and his mind wanders somewhere else. He gets punishment. And a devotee who, by mistake, his mind also wanders and thinks of something else. But he's excused. Okay.
So a person who's a show bottle devotee, I go to temple on Sundays, I chant my 16 rounds, I'm done. That's a show bottle devotee. A real devotee is whose life's purpose is to know Krishna, to obey the instructions of Krishna, to propagate the message of Krishna. That's a pure devotee. So if a person has made Krishna as his objective, he's struggling hard to achieve perfection and he makes a mistake, that is excused. But if someone is using Krishna consciousness itself as an excuse and not advancing any further, then that devotee is punishable. He's a non-devotee because Krishna is not his objective. He has just taken up this practice because he likes something. So he may be at best at Agyat Sukriti stage, but not beyond that.
Thank you.
See, but such persons are neglecting their religious duty.
Sorry, Prabhuji, but will he be under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj?
Depending on his desires, Prabhu. If his primary objective only is sense gratification and Krishna consciousness he sees as some religiosity, he's under jurisdiction of Yamaraj. But if he thinks Krishna is his objective and he's struggling with material nature, then he's not.
It says from the text, it says non-devotees are punishable by Yamaraj.
Yes.
India.
Very much. So non-devotee is someone whose objective is material.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat. Prabhuji, what about the other transcendentalists who are not devotees? Those who are following the other yogas, the Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they also come under Yamaraj's jurisdiction or they are outside?
Okay, now this interesting point. The whole world is under Yamaraj's jurisdiction. Only the devotees are exempt from it. That is like naturally one who's aspiring for pure devotion. So all these yogis, gyanis, they are under his jurisdiction very much. But it doesn't mean that everyone is punished. Yamraja's punishments are for those who are exceptionally sinful. Those who are normally sinful, like normal Hindus, dharmarth, kama, moksha, they will directly take another body. They'll take directly another birth and they will suffer their reactions in the next body directly.
Because I had heard somewhere that even though those who are pious people, Yamdutas generally don't come to take them. Those who are like whose destination because of their karmas in this lifetime are the higher planetary systems. So some other authorities, higher authorities, they come to take their soul, not the Yamdutas.
Yeah, I've also heard something like this. Because Garud
The
Puran
truth
doesn't
is,
mention this.
even
Garud Puran only mentions Garud Puran mentions that there are 4 gates to Yamlok. Those who are pious enter through the northern gate, and they see that Yamraj and his associates are sitting there. They're very in a very gentle mood. They speak to them and then they guide them to their next destination. Those who are sinful, they enter through the western gate, where there is like a hellish river with Vaitarni, which is boiling and roaring, full of dirty things and dangerous animals. And then Yamraj and Chitragupta are like looking fearsome and they're screaming and shouting at them. And then they are whipped and thrown into hellish planets. So this Yamlok is also like a very mystical planet. It's not an ordinary planet. And depending on the consciousness of the person who's going there, the departed soul, Yamraj will appear in different forms.
okay, different forms means.
He appears very pleasant. Chitragupta, Yamraj, they'll be smiling and laughing and talking with him. But everything is material because he also has a material destination. Seeing Yamraj face to face means there is a material destination.
So, like, though these yogis, suppose somebody has perfected their yoga and their destination is Brahma Jyoti, then, like, who comes to take them there, or they go on their own?
No, I think mystical personalities like Siddhas or someone might come to collect them. That's not mentioned really anywhere. Maybe Vishnu Purana, I'll have to check. But I haven't read like who comes to collect the pious souls.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Thank you.
The pious
Hare
people
Krishna.
will mention in many places that the airplane comes to take them. There must be some different
Yeah,
people.
yeah, I'll have to check what are the references because Prabhupada does not mention about these things at all. And
This
especially after death.
impersonalist.
Huh.
Sorry, Prabhu, please go on.
Yeah, like so if one is already at the stage of seeing Yamaraj or some other dutas, then one is already in a dangerous situation. Because next body, we don't know what kind of consciousness we'll get. Hmm. Yes, Prabhu, you were saying
Prabhuji,
something
the
also, Merata Prabhu?
destination, Prabhuji, this
Hmm.
destination for um, Haribol.
Yeah, Haribol.
Prabhuji, the destination, there are two, like one like devotees or non-devotee. In devotees, there are two type. One is like in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter. There is one is those who worship the Sakar form and those who worship Nirakar form. So this Nirakar worshipper also, they are Prabhuji also devotee, huh?
Transcendentalist,
They
not devotee.
transcendentalist. So
Hmm.
they are even they will see Yamaraj.
No, no, no. They are sinless. They are not committing sinful activity. They are just covered with
Yes, Prabhuji.
ignorance. So they'll may be promoted to some other planet. But Yamaraj is seen by only those people who are exceptionally sinful or something. One who's not transcendental will see Yamaraj, but no hellish punishment. So if a yogi is perfected, he'll go into Brahma Jyoti directly.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we stop here today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
appear very, very tired today. You are sounding very tired.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam. Thank you.